sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
Well, good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're happy to have you join us on this Thursday, the 9th of May, 2024. We greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Of course, we have the usual observances, which we will remind you of. On a day like today, it's Victory Day, marking the end of World War II in Europe, specifically the fall of Nazi forces to the Allies being the United Kingdom, Soviet Union, France, the United States, and other principal allied nations. Many of those countries celebrated Victory Day yesterday. However, in Russia, Kazakhstan, the Ukraine, Belarus, and other countries of the former Soviet Union, the Day of Victory over Nazi Germany is celebrated on this day, May 9, because when the German instrument of surrender actually entered into force at a minute past 11 Central European time, it was already the 9th of May by Moscow time. Some post-Soviet countries, most notably the Russian Federation, have continued the tradition. And you may recall, if you were listening yesterday afternoon on both sides of the story, you may recall the interview we did with a representative from the Jamaica Legion, and we also touched on another aspect of the remembrance and reconciliation for those who lost their lives during the Second World War, the 8th and 9th of May. The historic event that established the conditions of the creation of the United Nations is where we want to go for a bit, and then we continue. By Resolution 5926 of the 22nd of November, 2005, 4, the General Assembly declared the 8th and 9th of May as a time of remembrance and reconciliation. And while recognizing that member states may have individual days of victory, liberation, and commemoration, invited all member states, organizations of the United Nations system, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to observe annually either one or both of these days in an appropriate manner to pay tribute to all victims of the Second World War. The Assembly stressed that this historic event established the conditions for the creation of the United Nations, designed to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, and called upon the member states of the United Nations to unite their efforts in dealing with new challenges and threats, with the United Nations playing a central role, and to make every effort to settle all disputes by peaceful means in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations and in such a manner that international peace and security are not endangered. On the 2nd of March in 2010, by Resolution 64-257, the General Assembly invited all member states, organizations of the United Nations system, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to observe the 8th and 9th of May in an appropriate manner to pay tribute to all victims of the Second World War. A special solemn meeting of the General Assembly in commemoration of all victims of the war was held in the second week of May 2010, marking the 65th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. During the commemoration, the Secretary General called the Second World War one of the most epic struggles for freedom and liberation in history, adding that its cost was beyond calculation, beyond comprehension. 40 million civilians dead, 20 million soldiers, nearly half of those in the Soviet Union alone. In Resolution 69-267, the General Assembly recalled that the Second World War brought untold sorrow to humankind, particularly in Europe, Asia, Africa, the Pacific, and other parts of the world. It underlined the progress made since the end of the Second World War in overcoming its legacy and promoting reconciliation, international and regional cooperation, and democratic values, human rights, and fundamental freedoms, in particular through the United Nations and the establishment of regional and sub-regional organizations and other appropriate frameworks. And so a special solemn meeting marking the 70th anniversary of the Second World War was held on the 5th of May 2015. So just a bit of background there as to why, since yesterday, we were paying attention to remembrance and reconciliation. We trust those who have listened have been updated in that respect. And so we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Looking forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story. What's on your mind this afternoon? Feel free to share. You know the numbers to call: 876-922-4112-5, 922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And so we're looking out for, well, let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Recycling Partners of Jamaica. Yeah, we got to make a change. And we have to do it now, can't wait for later. We put plastic in its place. And we all can agree that we'll recycle. And we got the colors and we got the chains. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place. Let the place of the plate. PET, not the polyethylene. HDPE, fucking up against scale. Be able to manage everybody moving. Now we got to roll big, but no matter big. So the sign on the name, we put everything true. Carry to the fleet, not another thing. And we know man on garbage in the state. No, we got to lift up the man of the soul. So listen up, Jamaica. I'm saying it's time to make a change. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place. And we all can agree that we'll recycle. That is not the colors in the everydays. Recycling Partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place.
Are you a homeowner looking to make some upgrades to your space? A business owner in need of durable and cost-effective construction solutions? Or an Airbnb host looking to make your guests more comfortable? Freeform Factory has got you covered. Or expandable polystyrene products are the perfect solutions for building, insulating, and decorating your space at a cost-effective and durable way. Visit us today at 6 Lansman Drive, East 11, or 7 Harvest Street, Montego Bay, or call us at 876-757-2315.
White man turns the corner, finds himself within a different world. Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall. He says, would you respect me if I didn't have this gun? 'Cause without it, I don't get it, and that's why I carry one. We always need to hear both sides of the story, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Yes, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. 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 Find yourself in the gutter when you need your job, with a bit of respect, get out while you can. We
Oh, good
always
afternoon.
need to hear both sides of the story. Both
You want to
sides
be on the
of the
radio?
story.
Would you like to be on the radio? Okay.
Neighborhood peace is
Okay. Hold a
shattered.
moment, please.
It's the middle of the night.
Okay.
Young faces hide in the shadows while they watch their mother fall.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 411-225. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing good, thank God for His love and mercy.
Amen to that.
Yes, sir. I'm calling on the behalf of the Jamaican people to the government of Jamaica about this road system that they're doing.
Which one?
Congratulations to the Prime Minister and his team for what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
The road situation that they're doing, Mr. Malcolm, it don't make sense because they are not cleaning the drain and the outlet. They go through one time for the year and build the road. That's not enough. The road needs to be weed, clear the outlet so the water can come off the road. And
yes, it's funny. It's funny you should say that, because earlier on today, I was watching a documentary looking at how, I think it was Hungary or one of those countries, how they were putting certain systems in place to minimize the impact of heavy rains and the floods that tend to come with those.
Yeah, I think he's hungry. That's right. He's already hungry.
Yeah. Yes. So and it's not it's not something that we couldn't find solutions for. It's
easy to do, Mr. Malcolm. But what they doing in Jamaica, they're giving dentists the road to repair. You need people who understand and get the water off the road as early as possible. And for years after years, these outlets with the older man they used to go like in the grass piece and clean so the water can run through. They abandoned that. So the water is on the road all the while. If they patch in a pothole, they filled it up with marl. There is nothing else can go on that hole again but some paint.
Mm-hmm.
They take this little black thing and put on it. They patch the bigger hole, they leave the small one. So 2 weeks time, hole is there again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to be a little more clinical in our approach.
Right. Mm-hmm. You have to get the water off the road. That's number one. If it's keep on stay on the road, you don't weed the road again like what they used to do.
Right, it's going to eat away at the surface, little by little.
Right, and it's marl again. So when marl get wet, it swell up. So the road must mashed up. If they were using like brookstone in those holes, the water would drain out.
Mm-hmm.
Your system of doing things is all they're doing is wasting taxpayer money. You need people who know what a road's supposed to do. You want to get a dentist to put your roof on, would you?
Not at all, not at all.
Well, that's what they are doing now. When PWD used to do work, they do a better road work more than NAA right now. They need to find something else to do, and they get the older people, them who understand. The road must be tilted. The road cannot be flat.
Mm-hmm.
They're going down a hill, the gullies on the left-hand side, they let the water run on the right-hand side. Then when they go down further down the road, then build one road, simply in a road to cross back the water to go over there. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you control it from up the top, make the water stay on the left? Wrong or right?
No, you're asking pertinent questions.
They are doing things that they don't understand. The Prime Minister must stand up and let people who know how to do road. This is just waste of taxpayer money. Then him gonna get the blame. Number one, Jamaica people don't understand why they vote and who should they vote for. They will stay down here in Senton. I'm calling from Senton. Okay. And they will cost Mr. Andrew and Mr. Golding saying, well, fix the road. I have to tell a man the other day. Is the man who you vote for supposed to see the road do? Mr. Andrew don't respond to the road down here. Mr. Bolin don't respond. They put a representative there. Some of them looking help from the man who lose. They curse the next person and the sitting MP. They don't say nothing about him. They're just doing politics, which is wrong.
Yes.
We need to understand why we're voting for and why we should vote and who we vote for. Mr. Andrew don't have a seat down here. I think his road is in St. Andrew. So he need to stand up on his feet with the minister who responds for roads and work to see that the road is properly.
Yes.
They are going to get the blame.
Yes.
Wrong or right, Mr. Malcolm?
You are perfectly correct.
And we must stand up, we the voters must stand up and insist that's who we vote for, do something. We don't vote for party to we love JLP or we love PNP. We vote for PNP, then we cuss the JLP man say I'm not doing anything. Simple hits, that's who we vote for because they are going to need us. Some of the people say you only see them when them want vote. I don't want them. They need something, they come and look it. So if I need something, what should I do?
You said
look
it.
It also, I can't expect them to come back and not check for me. Then we'll get them vote. They don't need to come back. They have an office. So the Jamaica people need to understand and get up and sit to his that's who they vote for. Do something to the community. Although it's not everybody loves that. Some people must be voting for special or jargon or something. If they're going to keep a community meeting in a village, now, Mr. Malcolm, you know where the most of the people want to see that meeting held?
Where?
You have any idea?
No.
At a bar.
Where? Oh, at a bar.
At a bar more than going to the community center. Then the politicians say, what do you want? We need a dragon, we need a beer. Then that's it. That's what you say you need. So we all forgot what we are there for. Everybody wants special. Some might have said, me hungry, give me $2,000. That's it.
It shouldn't be that way though. We should be able to, for the most part, get more of our people involved in productive activity. And in that way,
really is the problem. I won't be in the government. I won't be in none of them. It's the people them in the community is the problem.
How so?
We need to go up. If I vote for GLP, go up and sit with us GLP do something. If you vote for PMP, go up and sit with us PMP do something. Constructive.
You have to put their feet to the fire.
That's what we vote for. For help. And they're gonna need our help again. So if we go to them, they will help us. If we don't go with individual helps. Help for the community. That's everybody who vote and who not vote get something and see something what the government has done. Because there is help, they will help. What is the people them in the community is the problem.
Yeah. More of us need to.
Politician for a sack of cement and it's okay, I will give it to you. You think he wants send it? Probably you want to call it in the amount of time we value more on the cement to get it. But don't leave him till he give you. Call him all 12 to o'clock at night and soon tired of you and give it to you. If it's something to the district, same thing. Don't stop. Call them.
Hold a moment, please. 1 moment, please. Hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. CIWI Electrical Sales is the place to find top quality brands, plugs, switches, wire, cables, and more. We stock all you need to get that electrical job done. We sell both domestic and commercial electrical items, conveniently located at 109.5 Red Hills Road. Call 876-924-2642 or 876-283-9986. We deliver island-wide.
Attention, all agriculture enthusiasts. Mark your calendars for Friday, May 10 as the Denby Showground opens its gates for an event like no other. It's the Jamaica 4-H Club's National Achievement Expo under the theme Youth in Agriculture, Shaping the New Face of Food. Join us in celebrating the innovation and dedication of our youth in agriculture. Experience a day filled with excitement as you tour an impressive array of agricultural technologies and explore our food diversification hub. Admission, just $200 for children and $400 for adults. Gates open bright and early at 8 a.m. So grab your family and friends and head on down to the Denby Showground for a day of fun and learning.
And the brother strikes to his sister and says, "It's right, it's just us from now on. All we always need to hear both sides of the story. We need to hear both sides of the story."
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're taking your calls on this Thursday afternoon on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's go back to the caller on the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Thanks for holding. Please continue.
One more question, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
I would like to ask the government what he's doing with all these idle land that will take from runners Jamaica mines. They are there sitting. People need them to be leased, and they can't get it.
What's that, bauxite land?
That's bauxite land over in that area now, southeast. Golden Grove, Orange Park, Harmony Hill, Hindstone. Lot of idle land. People need land to be built house. What is the government doing with all these idle land? Farmers need them and need their documental papers. Whether they lease them or put them on lease and sale instead of have this land. What is the government collecting off of them now? Keeping them there like that. They're just turning into crown land. When runners did have it, they keep it clean, rearing cow. Most of it is there now, just idling like that. They do a lot of farming on it, but the farmers, they need water. There's about 3-4 wells down in Belmont there that runners did abandon. Why does the government get them in use and supply people with water? In Orange Park, Golden Grove, I don't have the water resumed back as yet. They carry that water way from down in Clemon bottom. And these wells sit there, idling so close to the community then. People suffering from water, both to do farming and for their house purpose. What is the government doing? They need demonstration to let them realize that it is nonsense taking these holy land that runners used to employ people, and now most of it sit there.
So what would you like to see happen?
Some of it cut up in housing, some is farming, the people they get their documents so nobody don't have to come and teasing them, giving them notice, tell them they won't have to leave. These land are gonna sit there till some Chinese or some Japanese or whatsoever American come and buy out these land. That'll be cheap price.
But there's nothing to stop Jamaicans from buying property.
Yeah, but they are not selling them. More capturing going on more than what's selling. People need their documental paper. Lease them the land or lease and sale. Cut it up. Because you can be there 30 years and they still come and move you because you have no document.
Mm-hmm.
And the government would be collecting something too.
Mm-hmm.
You got what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Capturing don't pay the government. It going to put them in problem. Further on down the road, whatsoever government is there, it's going to cause problem, Mr. Malcolm. The government need to do something about it. Cut up some in quarter acre, some in a 5, some in a 10, some in a 15. Lease and sale. So somebody is at the control. And you have your document whether on a 5-year lease or whatsoever. The land them is there turning crown land.
It needs leadership on the ground too, you know. Leadership on the ground is key. That's something that's missing. You have these community organizations, some of them, well, no longer operating or
It's not easy to keep up, Mr. Malcolm.
I know.
It's not easy. The people them want things to done overnight. You're going to keep a meeting here, so by next week they must get result. They quicker to go to a party or a 9-night or something where they see they get something right away. 3/4 of Jamaican is not interested in group meeting or whatsoever. And that's what is driving the government crazy, because we can hardly get help without doing that. We have to group up. Then when you call in and tell them you're the chairman, you're the secretary, they will respond to you because you are in a group. And the government know that election is coming, so that group of people, if I do something for them, they will vote for me. It's not the government fault, it's the people them all over Jamaica. They are not interested in anything constructive. I try meeting here and I'm telling you, it's not easy. We have to be getting something.
But we're not all like that, though. I'm sure you could easily find people who are committed, people who are conscientious.
Sometimes in committee 3 weeks, Mr. Malcolm. 4 weeks time in change, then can't bother for nothing now come out of it. I run meeting here and I get things out of it. And I need it. I don't mind if it continue, because right now we are on some land here and every day land agent come in, they go and lick down a house and those things. When they should join up together and let we get our papers.
But there have been a few programs, even now, there are programs, land-related programs, and I'm not talking about media broadcasts, but in terms of real programs getting titles into the hands of our people.
Of course, I know that. It's the people them stopping it, not the government, whatsoever which one is there. You have to put your shoulder to the wheel and then you'll find something to peel.
I hear you.
We can't stay in Kingston and know what is our need. The people them is hard to keep up with, Mr. Malcolm, I'm telling you. If it's a 9-night, you're sure a crowd is going to be there. Or it's a party or something. You can look for people stepping on you. But there are a lack of keeping up community meeting. There are a lack of overstanding. So these things just don't done overnight.
Maybe you could give it a try.
They will help you. But we need some of these land to do farming and all those things.
I was saying a while ago, maybe you could give it a try in terms of leading the people in your community.
And them did group ups about them fall it apart. They don't have the faith to keep going.
Oh.
And nothing done so fast, especially with government. They will help you, but they are slow. So you have to just slow with them too. And you know what? Don't give up.
And you shouldn't.
do this.
Mhm.
I'm doing it from 17,
Mhm.
and I'm 70 now. It's hard to keep it up, but I'm still gonna try. I'd like my journey to finish,
Mhm.
get our papers for playful. Right now, a school is there, a basic school
Mhm.
that the former MP, JLP MP, Bill Farrows, Miss Robinson, God bless her soul.
Mhm.
And we need paper for the land. Sometimes they go to certain agent to get help, like putting on an export or something, and they say they need the papers,
Mhm.
which we don't have.
More work needs to be done in that area, though. More serious work.
Yeah, they need this serious work.
Mhm.
So we can't stop land agent from coming and then threatening us. And they're doing their work. That's what they are there for.
Mhm.
So I would even blame them. I blame the community people them. They have to follow rule to collect their pay. If they are not doing it, you fire them and get somebody else. I'm not blaming them. Land agent is the main people that responds to those portfolio, right?
Yes, yes, National Land Agency.
So we have to speak to them. There's an office in Claremont. I will have to go and see them again, but it don't make sense if we don't have a group going.
Yeah, well, they have to just try and convince them that it's in their best interest.
Again, so I go and try again, Mr. Malcolm. I'm not giving up.
Mhm.
I'm
That's the
gonna try
spirit.
to keep the ball rolling. I will be always calling you because I have other things to talk about.
Sure.
JPS and all those people. Why they
Well,
won't stop raise our bill, Mr. Malcolm?
the only thing is
Oh no,
they can't raise it without your permission.
who's that?
Yeah,
I
man.
never know that.
Yeah, there's the Office of
When the
Utilities Regulation, the OUR.
when the bill raise and you go down there, Mr. Malcolm, they saying to you, show you how the current burn and how it go up and down and telling you this oil and then telling you so this one is for thief. And my response to pay for who thief in current?
No,
Should the consumer? Should that fall on the consumer?
it shouldn't actually. It's not fair on the consumer.
But Mr. Malcolm, if you selling pumpkin and I come to buy some from you, and you say, oh, Mister, you know, they thief some last night. It was $30, but I have to carry it to 40. That sound good?
Mhm.
You are telling me to come and thief some too, and then somebody will pay for my own. But then say, Puss and dog now have the same look, so they might catch me, so I still have to try down thief. But if somebody paying for who's stealing it, it looks like everybody should steal. Then who will pay?
Yeah, it's
You
it's
know
it's
what?
a it's a it's a
You know
matter
what?
that has been problematic for a long time, and it doesn't seem as if it's going to end, even with all the new technologies with respect to
That
the.
are more tricky
Hmm.
systems. The technology is more tricky more than anything else. You hear what it means, Mr. Malcolm? Tech.
I hear you.
So it's take it and take away what you have.
Hold
Technology.
hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
the Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Let's give this caller an opportunity to wrap before we go to another call. Yes, sir. Are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Welcome again.
Yes. So
my talking, I think probably other people might be on the line. Everybody must get a chance.
Yes, indeed. So we thank you. Thank you for calling through.
You will hear from me again. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks for the call.
Okay, sir. No problem.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. I just want to say to the people in this country, let us go to a fasting next month for at least 2 weeks, just to save the children them in this country. And we're doing it for this crime and violence to stop. And I would like them to keep on the lights that day, whosoever driving around. And let us fast, a couple of days to see if we can get this crime and people to love one another better, Because it kind of make me sad too much, Mr. Malcolm, when I hear that other people get hurt and you don't know when it's you and you is among them and so. And we have to stop blaming each other. And when people try to serve in this country and help, we must not try to draw them down and criticizing them too much.
No, well, you're not going to escape. You're not going to escape criticism. There's a saying that says, fear of criticism is the kiss of death in the courtship of achievement. Fear of criticism is the kiss of death in the courtship of achievement. So that will always be with us, the criticism. What we have to do is to disaggregate the feedback and proceed accordingly. In other words, look at the substance of words and thoughts and ideas that are coming from the individual or individuals and respond accordingly. You might get a better understanding, as well as you might have to just take the position that you'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah, because I realize that when you criticize the younger people, they intend to slow down. But when you criticize the older people, it seems like they know how to absorb it more. And that's why I say
they are more gracious.
Yes, and people in this country that's willing to serve. I would love to see them serve right up to 90 so long as the brain not malfunctioning. And then the younger one would take up that.
Why you want to limit them to 90?
serve as long as you want to serve, man. Once you got the energy and lose your senses and so serve, man, if you want to serve. Nothing is wrong with that. And as I said, the younger one them would have get older when them take up the mantle. And I think they would have more mature in the area as them. Because me tell you the truth, someone come, if you ever go on one party and one just drop one stop on the drop and one of them are young people then start make fuss. One my time you chin back and you chin talk anywhere, man, we don't even look. So it is different. So I want the government to start some rally in every community. Use up the town cry. Right? Those who hiding from these things will hear it and the town cry. Because what I notice is you keep a meeting and call those who's giving trouble. None of them turn up. So as if they're just talking to yourself. So when we go into the meeting, if a 20 of us, the 20 of us understand certain things and those who are giving the trouble, none of them not turn up. So you go have to take it to them by using the tone cry. So anywhere they hide, even if they go in at the rock, they will hear it because they have ears to hear. But calling them, recently we decided to recruit at least 100 of them to go into the art program and so. And they sign their name there. And when we ready and call them, only 10 turn up. Right? We don't see 90. So people is out here trying them best, but me tell the truth, Samantha, what I notice, it's hard to win people these days. And man is lovers of themselves these days. And it's a problem. So by faith, I would love to see we thirsty. Be sure me drink more than tadpole, some little ones. And see me still nothing to me. Right? Because you know, so the clay got the crazy right protein store water, you know. And that area, if you don't dig a pond where you have clay, you don't have water in a dry time. It's gone. And I can remember one of the time the water gone completely, and my father have to rent about, just get about 4 to 5 hogs and put them in the pan to sleep at night, because it's sometimes the little area where crack the toe and close it back, and then we start hold water again. And we drink that water right through Mr. Malcolm and no sickness, So I believe that right now I have the knowledge. I used to be what you call runoff ponds, right? So if you build a house, once you go and build a house, then we go there and we build what you call a runoff pond. So they pipe it, and when the water run off of the house, it goes in there and then take time and soak away because you couldn't let it go on the road. So everybody, especially like all the Westgate Hills and them place, should have what you call a runoff pond. So you don't run the water from the house to the road to mash up the road. Because I see houses of a place that you can land a plane on it. So you just imagine the amount of water, the cubic of water gushing off of that. So we have to start to come together now and plan, make, some of the policies that not working for us. We get rid of them.
Yeah, in fact, in the documentary I was watching this morning, there was talk about the fact that one of the things they surmise has contributed to flooding that previously didn't happen the way it is happening these days, that it's a function of the a sort of a covering of a lot of the earth. A lot of the earth is being covered with concrete and other mechanisms which don't allow for the escaping of water.
Yeah, no food.
Yes.
I used to use banana chunk, because I couldn't afford to buy like the PVC pipe. And when I'm doing anything that water, I always use the banana trunk and make all the loopholes. And then sometimes I forget to take them out, but after a while it rotten out and then the water still squeak through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't use solid things there that when the concrete fast, then you can't get it out. I use like banana trunks and so. But we can do things better, Mr. Malcolm, and we have to get this country as close as we can because it belongs to us.
Indeed, it does.
It belongs to us, and we can afford to eat mashed up. And I hate when people try to put on the damper on people who try their best to lead. Because if we keep on, if we keep on pumping it up, we're not going to get anybody who willing to put up themselves in lead in this country, Mr. Malcolm. Because, for instance, me have $40 million me start to lead. In less than 3 or 4 months, you start hearing that, I think him start to lead in get this and in get that. And me carry my money in the system to pump in the system and to help people. And all them is focusing is on the money. And it is driving you to judgment. And I want our young people here in Jamaica put work first and money will come after. Don't think about you're going to get paid before you work. Right? And tell yourself that. And when you leave in your home, you love yourself.
Yeah, in fact, yes, I think it was the gentleman there from Apple. What's his name? The founder. Hold on, let's take the break and come back, and we'll make the point we wanted to make just now. Hold on, please.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock. Don't waste time trying to fill prescriptions. Community Meds Pharmacy makes it easy for you. We have the only drive-through pharmacy in Portmore. Get your blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, HIV, pregnancy, and other tests done. Open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday and public holidays, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Community Meds Pharmacy, Lot 5, Congreve Park, Hellshire Main Road. Telephone 740-4962. That's 740-4962. We are convenient and affordable. The Kingston and St. Andrew Association of Brand Societies of the JAS, in association with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, RADA, and the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, hosts the 28th staging of AgriFest, Saturday, May 25, at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Playfield, Hope Gardens, under the theme Grow What We Eat, Eat What We Grow. Come see agricultural, industrial, and JAS branch displays, farmers market, and much more. Admission adults $1,000, children $500. Gate prize, weekend for Twin Sanders Resorts. That's AgriFest 2024, Saturday, May 25. Sponsored by Sagicor Group, Agent Agro, Sanders Resorts International, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining. See you there.
The name I was trying to remember just now was Steve Jobs of Apple. And he says, never set out to make money. Set out to make a difference. If you make a difference, the money will come. It will come. So that's just to support the point you were making before we took the break. Are you still? Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to see if we can get the Prime Minister's attention in regards to the rally. The rally and the fasting next month. Even for a week, In other words, it's to do with crime and violence and to save Joshua pity them. Because a lot of the parents is not praying with the pity them some album. Right? They're not praying with the pity them. Oftentimes you hear the parents pray, or you hear the kids them. And we can't leave them out because the system target Joshua pity them. And parents in Jamaica want them to rise up. love yourself and stop bleach. And the boys them to stop calling one another dog. I was looking at a documentary and see one wall with some dog nasty up. And it took the man 3 years to clean off about quarter of the wall. Right? Stop calling one another dog. Right? I want the rally to start by next week in the 14th parish. Stop calling one another dog. We have to save the children coming up. Right? So there are certain protocols going to be out there right now. And then we're going to have to follow it by faith. Mr. Malcolm, these are the few words I'm shooting with you today.
Well, thank you very much for the call. And let the change begin.
Bless you.
Bless you too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Power.
Good afternoon, Miss Mervis. How are you?
I lost you for about 3 days.
You did? What happened?
Just couldn't pick up Power at all.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Well, I hear you loud and clear today.
That's good to know.
Yes, man. Greetings to everybody. Workers, staff, listeners. You know, it's interesting to really listen to these people talking, you know, myself. you know, Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have so much sense, you know. And talk so much sensible stuff, you know. And it make me wonder what happened to the people who lead.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
There's something about my Jamaican people. And a lot of these things I didn't find them out myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The Almighty didn't put me to sit down and start teach me some things and teach me how to look into things, out of things, under things, over things, and things and above things. And, you know, we call that critical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things would have passed me. But yes, man, listening to some of them talking about the roads and so on and community and whatnot. And there are people who have come for a long time there, some of them and know some type of things, you know. But it's like nobody want to hear anything about those. There's a lot of things that we need to reverse in this country, you know, Dervan.
Uh-huh.
Yes. You see the parish council?
The municipal corporation?
Yes, when parish council was parish council.
Mm.
It have its own tractor, its own bulldozer, its own trucks, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all those things. And then you have them team of workers will go around, and if them clean or drain, the truck is there to pick it up same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that, I don't know what is the role of parish council these days. A lot of the parish council, whatever the work what I used to do is taken away. They used to be the person who make sure that the parish is cleaned up. Not one what do you call it? NWA, NWA, I want to say NWA.
PWD?
Not one, yeah, not one. PWD was by itself, you know.
Okay.
There was PWD by itself, but they take care of certain roads. And they too had their equipment. You see, parish going to take care of the parochial roads and so on. And all them things there. Everything pull up, you know, Dervan. You see, even when they pull up, lock down some of the hospitals and come up with these regional hospitals, big regional hospital, and turn some of the hospitals in a clinic and all something. I know so they're not going to mash down, you know, Dervan. I know the pressure they will take this 1 or 2, 3 regional ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand where these people get them ideas and why them not look through things. Because if you lock down the little some of the other hospitals and so you have like a regional hospital, 1 or 2, 3 regional hospital, and you push everything there, so it never occurred to you that they will go buckle one day. Yeah? You see, when the first toll when I make over Portmore there, you see? You see the amount of toll here when you drive through?
Mm-hmm.
When me look at it and me say, when once somebody rightly talk about deeper building them, we take away the land space where the water soak down into. We see all that, you know.
every time you make these wide, broad roads, Dervan, and cut down the bank, them and all them something, you know. When we see some massive river, you know, Dervan. Let me go over there, me look on them, but toll booths here, and then me say, then tell me something. When them water start come down the road and go through the wall of them asphalt, them Dervan, where them really go? Eh? Me don't know. We keep on a certain, well, we must stop it, you know. We must stop it because the Almighty did remind me. You see, when a person gets wisdom, I often say that God say a man with a little knowledge with wisdom will do a lot more than a man with a whole heap of knowledge without wisdom, you know. You see, I just see the people that want to go to university, Dervan, who live in them environment and community and know it. Eh? You could have go to university somewhere, you can't know it like them, you know. I remember this man, this rain fell and flood, and this farmer was being offered fertilizer by the minister. And you know, I remember for the minister, the JS person. The man tell him they don't need no fertilizer. Because when you see the rain fall and wash down all of them things properly inside, he tell them say when the water dry out a rich soil that. You know what I mean? But that's something we know from me study the geography and science way on the road. Eh? Because the topsoil, why you fart the land and turn over the soil? Because the topsoil have all the trash rotten on top of it. You understand? Yeah. And that is why it's not good for you scrape up all your trash and just keep on and burn them up, you know? Them near mulch. You see, so the man will live out there, although him not documenting what him learn, you know. Eh?
Yes. Which is key. If you want to be able to spot trends, identify what where the trends are. It does make a difference.
Right, but these people don't document things. They know a mighty lot. But they're not the people who document things. They're coming like with them, empty them to go to university and them to read me some of the big book. And who for big book, you understand? But me have to tell people, say, look, where the people get the information where you're reading out of them big book there? I study them with the situation, but it's because you don't document yours.
That's right.
You understand? It's a whole heap of things the ordinary people know. But because it's not documented out there, you see it? Because you see the hillside road, them Dervan, if them go back, I remember Mr. Colonel Charles Sr. one time said they need to go back to use the broken stone. And a certain talk show host said that slavery something. And I said, what a crazy argument. What is slavery?
You mean they cut stones?
Yes. Because you see, when you balance that in the road there, when the rain fall, if the asphalt, you come off the stone and sit on the same way, and me have a piece of road in my street that space up. It's the same way the whole, you know what them do with the mall? Them take out the whole of the stone them out of the mall and throw them from the side, you know. And roll in the dust, you know. If it's a clear soil like mine around here, so you see when the time gets dry, you see the road burst, you know. You see when the rain starts to fall, the water just seep down through the cracks, you know. But you don't understand who engineering these roads, who you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In one rainfall, you could put on a rain, no road. And the ordinary, somebody said that too long. The ordinary person who know that when road used to make Dervan, when we had engineered at public works and engineered in a parish council, you know. Now that you give them road to anybody when they know anything about the road. Huh? We're paying a lot for that. You see it? Yeah. And until we have to reverse to certain things, you know. The gentleman talk about praying, but then take out the Bible out of the schoolroom. They mix up the Bible knowledge with social study and all them foolishness there. It's like them don't want no devotion in there. It's like them take out God out of the place and the devil come in. So if you have a dozen week of fasting, that alone won't work, you know, as you rightly say, you know. We went to school and learned Bible And there are some things you learn, like Psalm 1, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And one was said, therefore, all things whatsoever he would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. And the holy scripture, you see, the Bible is not a holy book, you know, as people say, you know. The Bible is about a holy God. Every atrocity you see man do, you know the Bible, you know. Man do it already. When them allow the devil and the demon, them to take them up and make them think otherwise. God let's enter the place. People don't have nothing respect for the job for God anymore. First time on a Sunday, you wouldn't get them to play certain kind of music, you know, Dervan. Shop lock by 10 o'clock. Yes. And even if you're not Christian, you don't hear that not certain kind of thing. You entertain the presence of the high God of creation. When we come down here, come see, and we tell some people not too long ago, God said, we tell, we say, when we born, it take we how long to know where we are. Eh? Because when you consider the process of a baby go through before we get to certain years, before you know certain things. Eh? But all of a sudden we come up the road, learn about the world where we come eat here, and start to behave like we never come eat it here. But you see this mix up religious education there, man. Some of them have some devious things in them, you know. I can't tell you that. Demonic stuff too. Yes?
Which means we need to be more discerning.
Yes, we need to be more careful what kind of religion. We're mixing up our children with too many different kind of religion where they're not ready to be able to sort out. And you have some of them, them have some devious part of them where you ordinarily would not see. Yeah? There's a lot of demonic force at work in the nation, you know, Dervan. Witchcraft, high level, as the Bible rightly says. It tells you about spiritual wickedness in a high places.
One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the One Spot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. We have Miss Mervis holding on one of the regular call-in lines, while Verol in Calgary, well, I'm not even sure if he's in Calgary or he's in Jamaica right now, but he could be anywhere. He's holding on the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. So let's see how quickly we can go through the other thoughts and ideas and expressions before we have to wrap, considering that we have your legal corner coming up at 3:30 this afternoon. This is the feature where all your U.S. immigration matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with U.S. immigration, this is the place, and the time is at 3:30 this afternoon. Make a note of it, get your questions together, and we'll be more than happy to make way for immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington, the expert at this, to share her thoughts and general responses to the questions that you'll be asking starting at 3:30 this afternoon. Those numbers to call 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. So let's go back to Miss Mervis. Then we move on to Veril, who is usually in Canada. And then we go to the broader collection of listeners. Hello, Miss Mervis, are you still with us?
Yes, man.
Yes.
This is child month, right?
It is child
every
month.
year we have this child month going on. Nothing changing, it getting worse. Because every time we watch the children killing each other and getting on with them those business. There are some of the school them what them call name brand school, Dervan. Eh? Then I see something demonic at work in this place. Eh? The fact is that there's a lot of emphasis is being put now on the handful of bad behaving children, you know. To the detriment of the ones that are good, you know. Eh? The percentage of the ones who are behaving badly to the ones who are behaving good, it cover like, as I say, you ever see a whisk vine, a tree cover with whisk and you can't even see the vine?
As far as night is from day.
Eh?
As far as night is from day.
You can't see the tree around here, the vine, you can't see the vine over the tree covered. And that is what is happening, the negative behaving ones, them covering over everything that is in those schools, you know. And the set of children in there need to get up and get some meeting with them own class, their own schoolmates, and let them know that they are ambassadors to them, for the who gone before them.
That's actually one of the lessons the youngsters at certain institutions are taught at the outset.
They are ambassadors.
That's
they are ambassadors
yes.
to the ones that are the ambassadors to the ones to come.
That's right. That's right.
They can't afford to sit down there and they need to put them in our circle and tell them, say, look, man, this can't work this way. Because anyway, we're going to school name, we're going to call, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And all that kind of thing. And if them don't, help them get right, you know what I mean? No, man, it can't. It can't. And in closing, you could have, we have a lot of ball out of prayer this and prayer that, but you know, it's a God not use crowd to things, Dervan.
Yes.
You watch it, it always call a person, you know.
The power of one.
Yes. You watch a Moses or a Abraham or a Gideon or a, you know, them people or a David. You know that thing?
Yes.
They're not called crowd. It's because it's difficult to deal with crowd because everybody going to start to interpret everything differently. You understand? They will call one person to be the leader in something, and the rest will have to buy into it. You understand?
That's right.
So I'm closing by saying to the school children, no government not going to solve the problem inside of the school. They could have put a million camera there and a million something because it's very impossible to fight out a road. Yeah? It's happening on my deal. But we don't know that it's school people fight one another on the road. But they never kill one another though. And all them things there. So the whole thing, the whole matter is, we all as one man, so we all have, it's long time you tell them God to the knees and need a year and national repentance, reconciliation and commitment. I don't mean church. And some of my fellow Christians never go to school of keep. Devotion must understand, say not convention them go. Crusade. You can have a 20-minute devotion and it's very effective, Dervan. I have done it. You understand? But we're going with a strong message behind it. We have to keep. You see? So that is one of the things. Sometimes them going to the school, you know. And them pray some long prayers right here to Jerusalem. Huh? Turning off some people. You understand? There's a right way to do everything. So the Lord, Jamaica, the man said, believe there's hope in this country there all the while. And the last thing we're going to tell the politicians them, God said him no want no more organizing in here. And him no want no more motorcading. When the election come, make the MP them go in at the constituency, them go meet people in at the square them, not the community square them. You understand? That's how it used to be. And you see them and you know them. But what you're seeing and knowing now is that the political leader. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who you're voting for, where you have to spend. So that is where the politics gone totally wrong. Go back into the community, then go meet the people, find out what you do. And by the time if you win, you're supposed to know if you do, not true. What them need, that's all.
That's right.
Talk to them and document it, man. You love grab them up all when them half dead and carry them an election, carry them in a vote. Them slackness they need to stop. Go into the community them. Cut out the people motorcade what the business people are giving them these whole heap of money to go run. And go pay the people and we have in the parents more money so that they can take care of them picnic.
Mm.
It's a foolishness. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Miss Mervis. Thanks for the call. All the best.
Yes,
all right, take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Let's go to another caller. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Oh. Okay, I thought it was Verol from Alberta, Canada. All right. Okay, all right. Bear with us, Verol. So, who is this now? Jam and Tell, is that you?
Yeah, man.
What's happening?
Oh, under the weather, man. Raining cats and dogs.
Oh, dear.
Oh. Remember the other day I told you that we were without water for 18 days.
So you have water now?
Man, rain like dirt out there. But what happened now is the farmers are glad for the rain. But the roads that were in a deplorable state have been scoured. And the little asphalt that was on them gone into gullies. So patrol gal who are out there now. They look like if the 160 million per MP to fix road will be insufficient. Because we need greater level of efficiency in terms of how we go about road construction. Because you need proper drainage and you need the required amount of asphalt on the road. Not put in 1 inch when you should be put in 3. So it's problem all over. And you know what I was telling you about backside mining land? I making mention about Clement and water problem.
Yes.
And land should be given to farmers, to people to build houses.
Yes.
Did you give a district that is from?
I don't recall.
Oh, because you're talking about Shiny Robin Flair. Them pertaining into some land and they need title. But plenty of those title business out there need to be looked into maybe eventually. That's where they will have to call the Auditor General to investigate. Because you remember sometime back you hear about an entertainer named Mavado. Him get licked to the tune of 38 million. And you know what the judge, what the lawyer did mean? Huh?
No, I'm the what?
The lawyer named Mefado. And mess up the courthouse and the police, judge, and court staff had to run. So plenty people, they better read and listen and understand what are the fallen people out there. Because the man was telling you about land capturing and them things, you know. But you have a party that love land capturing. Yeah, wicked down in Montego Bay.
All right, well, careful now.
Yeah, but I am not going to say anything like because we are trying the public domain in terms of people land that were captured.
No, but you might have that in your head because of how you operate and where you operate. But no. All right, let's move on to the next point, please.
All right. When you say we was backside land, the majority of the land have been allocated to farmers. The big question is, what use are they put it to? Because some of them got land and that's a preferential political affiliation.
And it happens on both sides, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, we're not going to let them happen on both sides. Because certain things, when you hear some people talk to believe in paradise or virtue, and the other one is the devil incarnated. But the devil exists out there. Because there was an individual who said politics is about who get what, when, and how. You remember that one?
All right. The campaigning has started, has it? It sounds like it has started.
Constitutional reform coming into the meeting. Some more time will be spent on campaigning more than managing government affairs. Because you have an opposition like bloodhounds smelling blood. Will want to get rid of government, and the government want to remain in power. So they have to get into the
and nothing is strange about that.
Huh?
Nothing is strange about that. You're in and out of power.
Yeah, man, power for the poor.
All right.
But I got to ask you, who is our warrior?
Just that. A warrior is what a warrior is, or who a warrior is.
Basically, a warrior is a person who participates in war and a warlike tendency. Would you agree with that?
All right, we're gonna leave it there for now, sir.
Oh, so the new caller is coming on?
Yes, we're gonna go to Verol.
Oh, well, but I will return to you until you talk about the warrior. I will going to a peace and you have people preaching war.
All right, thank you. You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Horror 106 FM. Continuing with more of your messages and your calls after the break.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Welcome to your Legal Corner on Power 106 FM, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Time now for your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM.
I'm so sorry because we have a feature. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay. So Verol has agreed to make way for our regular Thursday afternoon feature, Your Legal Corner, with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington. Good afternoon to you, Miss Delia. How are you? I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another edition of Your Legal Corner. And listeners tuned in, we expect that you will have lots of questions, and rest assured that U.S. Immigration Attorney Delia Walker Huntington is ready to respond in kind. So, Ms. Delia, in terms of the week that has been, anything on the agenda?
Boy, there's so much on the agenda here. I understand going into the election for November that when they're doing surveys across the United States, that immigration is the number one matter that is of concern to the American public. And it makes me a little nervous because we've all lived through from 2016 to 2020 and 2020 to 2024. So the entire immigration situation, we don't see it that much in the news right now, but it's still being propagated as an issue at the border. But unfortunately, when that happens, it filters over into all streams of immigration, of migration to the US. And, I know that Jamaicans and Caribbean people stand to be negatively impacted when immigration is viewed as a major problem. So I'm watching that. I encourage people who are American citizens who are listening to watch it, to monitor it, to make sure that they are part of the election process, that they keep up to speed on what's going on. Primaries and so forth are going to start taking place, and we're not that far off. What are we now in May? Almost the middle of May, going into some places that start voting very early, and voting on primaries. So, for example, in Florida, let's take it where I am. All of the members of the House of Representatives are up for election every 2 years, and all across the United States. But in the state of Florida, every member of Congress, member of the House of Representatives, except for one, will be facing a primary challenger. So what that means is that before the election in November, both parties have to determine who their representatives are, and that's done by voting. So you register to run against either the incumbent or if there's an open seat. So you may have a Democratic congresswoman. Let's say in where I live, my congresswoman is a Democrat, and she's been there for a number of years. But she's going to face other Democratic challengers to determine whether or not she will be the actual candidate who's going to run against the Republican challenger. And I don't know who the Republican challenger is, but I suspect that person also has that position also has more than one person running. So that's what I mean by the primaries. Those elections will be held probably in August or so. I don't quite remember the date, but they will be held prior to the actual run up to the general election. So it's important for people all across the United States to pay attention to that pre-general election where you get to choose who the candidate will be on both sides. So who's the Democrat going to be? Who's the Republican going to be for your congressional seat? And the same also can apply for the Senate. Now the senators serve for 6 years as opposed to the Congress people who serve for 2. So, and it's also, except in very rare circumstances with maybe a death or a resignation, that the 2 senators are from your state are up for election at the same time. So each state has 2 senators. They're very rarely up for election at the same time. But you need to check this to see if one of your 2 senators is up for re-election, and whether or not that person is drawing a challenger within their party's primary and who we're going to select. Because sometimes people wake up and say, but who's this? I never heard of it because you weren't paying attention. So pay attention to where those candidates stand on the issues that are concerned to you, in particularly to immigration.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that comprehensive roundup, Ms. Gloria. I mean, Miss. I'm mixing up my co-workers now. Oh dear. Yeah. No, this of course is Miss Delia, as we affectionately call her. So we have a question for you, Miss Delia. This one says, "Good day. Here's a question for your legal corner. I applied for my citizenship April of this year. Can you say how long it would take to finalize? Also, will my taxes to IRS have to be cleared off for me to get my citizenship? And secondly, my wife is visiting from the Caribbean. Is it okay for her to stay here and then do a change of status upon receipt of my citizenship?
Okay, so first question, how long it's going to take? So we filed April, that was last month, 2 weeks ago. The receipt notice that you will get will tell you it's going to take 765 days, which is 2 years. In reality, it takes much less than that, and that's one of the areas where they have cleared up some of the backlog. So you can go on the USCIS website, uscis.gov, check case status time when you get your receipt. Look on the receipt notice, and then go down to check case status time and see where your petition is, the N400, and check. It's taken really about 4 months now. We're back to about 4 months. It just means that if your petition is happening to be taken a year, it's not outside normal processing time because they told you on the receipt that it's going to take 2 years. So that's number one, question number one. Question number two about taxes. One of the tenets of good moral character for obtaining your citizenship is your compliance with the tax law. So if you are behind in your taxes, your filing, I would suggest that you file and then work out a payment plan with the IRS. So if you're in a payment plan, you're okay. The problem comes in is if you haven't filed. So when you say clear up the taxes, maybe you owe, that's okay. The IRS will accommodate you for you to work out a payment plan where you can pay over a certain period of time. So once you've filed your taxes and you're in that payment plan, it should not stop you from obtaining your citizenship. The third question as to whether wife is visiting can remain, that is always a tricky position. So theoretically, yes, if your wife came on a visit and decided to stay, once you're a citizen, you can file to adjust her status. However, in the meantime, she gets no benefits and she becomes an undocumented person once she stays past those 6 months. And as a green card holder, you can't help her to adjust her status. Now, when I say it becomes tricky, that's part of it, is that wife is exposed while she waits on you to get her citizenship. Also, what if there is a problem and you don't get your citizenship? Then she becomes undocumented, she starts to accrue unlawful presence, and if she leaves, she's going to face a mandatory bar to returning without a waiver. So something that people need to consider very carefully before you go ahead and overstay. It might be best for her to keep traveling back and forth until you are able to file for her citizenship, file for your citizenship, get your citizenship and file for her. Now, having said that, as a green card holder, you are free to file for your wife. I don't know when you got married, but green card holders can certainly file for their spouses and unmarried children. And that petition is right now taking about 3 years. At one point, it was current for quite a while, moving along like a citizen filing, but now it's gotten into a situation where they are now at June of 2021. So, I know people want to be together, particularly, separation causes anguish and so forth, but sometimes you have to think long term and not short term.
Thank you very much, Ms. Delia. So here's another one. Good evening. I wrote to the program regarding my brother, who is a green card holder in the US. He pleaded guilty to a felony about 20 years ago. He got his green card after, but I think it was already in process. You mentioned that you needed more info. Can I email you the transcript of the court ruling to see if there is anything that can be done in order for him to travel to Jamaica without the fear of not being readmitted into the US?
Well, the answer to that is no. If you want that kind of detailed personal analysis, you'd have to contact my office and schedule a consultation. We don't do that on this program.
Okay. And this one here, not sure. No, that's a stale message, but this one that we read before was quite current. So let's see who else is there. This is your legal corner with U.S. Immigration Attorney Delia Walker Huntington, and we're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And let's see. Keep those comments coming in. Keep those questions coming in. 876-922-4112-5. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
This Friday, May 10, the Jamaica 4-H Clubs presents its National Achievement Expo under the theme Youth and Agriculture, Shaping the New Face of Food. Join Power 106 FM for live broadcast of Power Talk from the Jamaica 4-H Club's National Achievement Expo at the Denby Showgrounds in Maypen, Clarendon from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and celebrate the innovation and dedication of our youth in agriculture. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, CASE, the Road Safety Unit, HIPRO, and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA. That's a broadcast of Power Talk from the Jamaica 4-H Club's National Achievement Expo at the Denby Showgrounds in Clarendon this Friday, May 10, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM. You're listening to Your Legal Corner, your source of information on all matters regarding U.S. immigration. You can call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-4112-5. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Now, back to Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on Your Legal Corner with U.S. Immigration Attorney Delia Walker Huntington, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Any questions at all you have in relation to U.S. immigration, this is the time, this is the place, and we look forward to your many, many questions. 876-922-4112-5 are the numbers to call. 876-922-4112-5. And the caller who sent us the message about being readmitted into the US also sends a rejoinder, another question, which wouldn't make any sense we ask that second question based on what Ms. Delia said earlier on. So we're going to move right along, and continue to encourage your calls. 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, and the text line 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Any question having to do with U.S. immigration matters, you have come to the right place. 876-922-4112-5, or the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And let's see, one or two other responses for the broader program. But for this segment, it's about U.S. immigration matters. And there's a question that we've been getting, Ms. Daly. I'm not sure if you have had time to digest the new arrangements with respect to the value of items brought in on a given trip between Jamaica and somewhere else in the world.
You mean that the allowance?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Will it go into effect, the increased allowance?
It's supposed to have happened, but then you never know.
I know it was $500, $500 US.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So, but in the meantime, listeners, go ahead and ask your U.S. immigration questions. We still have time. So please go ahead and share, and we'll be happy to have those questions answered insofar as we're able to have them answered in terms of how they're responded to, because yes.
Let me make a comment about the visa bulletin.
Sure.
Often on this program, I only deal with the current month's bulletin. So I bring it up because I talked to 3 different people this week who were giving me the June dates. So each month, the National Visa Center or the State Department issues the visa bulletin, which tells you by preference category what priority dates are current, and it also tells you what dates they're processing paperwork for in a particular preference category. So though we're at May 9th, they have issued the June visa bulletin. I don't look on the June visa bulletin or the next month's visa bulletin because it can change. They can adjust it and issue a new visa bulletin as the month approaches. So I would recommend to persons, don't get caught up in the next month's visa bulletin. Deal with the current one because that's what's being processed. So, for example, now in the F1 preference category, which is the adult, meaning over 21-year-old unmarried son or daughter of an American citizen, visas are available for people who were filed before July 8th of 2015. You may get anxious and go look at the June visa bulletin, but that's not the current one. It's only current for the month that you are in. It's anticipatory to know what's going to happen in June, but keep it in mind that it can change. So always go by the visa bulletin for the months you are actually in. Don't get caught up in looking at the latest one that they've issued because if it's not the current one.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Delia. And this is actually a repeat question that I'm looking at, so I won't bore you with this one. So But in the meantime, we still have more time. We still have time to take a few more calls before we have to wrap. The numbers to call 876-922-4112-5. This is a feature where U.S. immigration matters are dealt with. That's what happens in this segment. U.S. immigration matters. So if you have any questions at all in relation to U.S. immigration matters, this is the time, this is the place. Here are the numbers: 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. You wanted to get in here, Miss Daly?
Yeah, just to, just to give some more pointers out there, some general pointers. People who are married and the immigration process is involved, it's very important that you keep all of the evidence of your relationship prior to and during the marriage. So oftentimes people come to me when they've done filings themselves and they're in a little bit of a problem, or they get a request for evidence, and I ask them, what evidence of the marriage did you present to immigration? And they say the marriage certificate. That alone is not enough. So the marriage certificate is a legal document issued by your state or Jamaica or whichever country you got married in, to say that you are legally married in the eyes of that jurisdiction. But the proof of the validity of the marriage goes way beyond the marriage certificate. You have to show that you have a relationship prior to and during the marriage. If you live together and are going to adjust your status, then the burden is even higher, because then you have to show that you're co-moving your money, your assets, and your debts. If you live outside, you live in two different countries, one lives in America, the other person lives outside, then you have to show the evidence of the continued relationship. Seeing a person, having a relationship online, by phone, by what is that called, FaceTime or WhatsApp calling or video, and then you go to Jamaica and you marry that person the first trip and you file for them to come back, it's going to raise some red flags. So although I know, and I'm going to sound very old-fashioned, which is what the embassy and the government, U.S. government is like, that counts for relationships today in 2024, but in terms of continuity and validity of a relationship, you need to document it far more deeply if you want to present it to the U.S. government to say this is a valid marriage for immigration purposes, which can be is completely different from a valid marriage where immigration is not involved.
Thank you, Ms. Delia. Here's another caller. Let's find out if it's in relation to U.S. immigration matters. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. It's not an immigration matter. I wanted also.
So let's take your call in the other segment. We'll take your call in the other segment. But this
okay,
one,
Mr. Malcolm.
okay, all right, good. Thank you. Right, so we still have 4 minutes left to go in your legal corner with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington. So the numbers to call once again, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And we have cleared a couple of questions already. And someone else. Okay. All right, so listeners, here's an opportunity. Just a few minutes to go, 3 minutes to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you still have that burning question that you've been meaning to ask, but not quite ready to ask it, now would be a good time. 876-922-4112-5, or the text line. Send your message, send your question to 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So we'll perhaps use the opportunity then, Miss Delia, to wrap up this week's edition of your legal corner. We thank you as usual.
My pleasure as always to be with you, Dervan, and the listeners. And if anyone wants to reach out to me for a consultation, it's 954-963-8555. You can reach me in the United States and all 50 states we practice immigration. 954-963-8555. And the number in Jamaica is 876-969-9666. That's 969-9666 or 925-0949. Thank you so much, Dervan. I will catch up next week.
Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you too, as always. All the best.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye. And that's it for this week's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S. Immigration Attorney at Law, Delia Walker Huntington.
You've just listened to Your Legal Corner, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Join us next Thursday at 3:30 p.m.
For Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM. At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. CIWI Electrical Sales is the place to find top quality brands, plugs, switches, wire, cables, and more. We stock all you need to get that electrical job done. We sell both domestic and commercial electrical items, conveniently located at 109.5 Red Hills Road. Call 876-924-2642 or 876-283-9986. We deliver island-wide. Don't waste time trying to fill prescriptions. Community Meds Pharmacy makes it easy for you. We have the only drive-through pharmacy in Portmore. Get your blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, HIV, pregnancy, and other tests done. Open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday and public holidays, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Community Meds Pharmacy, Lot 5, Congreve Park, Hellshire Main Road. Telephone 740-4962. That's 740-4962. We are convenient and affordable.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we say hello to, who is this now? J.N. Master Songwriter, who says, I am Miss B. Greetings, Dervan Malcolm. Greetings to you too, Miss B. Stephen Barnes says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Your program is one of the best in Jamaica. You're very kind. Thank you very much. Right now, I think you need to get this program a night slot where a lot more people can listen and learn. And Stephen Barnes goes on to say, love your first caller. And J.N. Master Songwriter, who says, I am Miss B, says, Mr. Malcolm, I'm a Jamaican woman in my late 60s living in the U.S. It's good to hear from you. And someone agrees to what Miss B says. Absolutely. Caller, says Miss B. So those are some of the messages that have come in on on the segment just ended, and we're still taking your calls. So let's go to the text line, which is same as the WhatsApp number. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today, man?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing good. I know summer is coming here in New York, so it's getting warmer. So that's a good thing.
Well, more power to you in more ways than one.
Yeah, man, because you know the winter here is it's dreadful. I think the first time I saw you when you came to New York was in the spring.
I remember it was about 4 of you. It was about
Jane
at the JN. Yes, yes.
Utica Avenue. I think it was a little chilly though. Was it a little chilly?
Yes, man, it was. It was.
Yeah. And I was like, anyhow. Let me start by saying to you, the word you're looking for about this talk away thing is called percolation. Percolation with the water. You literally what is going on here in New York now? They are building these we call them water gardens. So what they do on the sidewalk, they would excavate, put some pipes that go way down in the ground, and the water from the street will go in there and soak away instead and alleviate some of the water from going into the storm drain. Because as you know, in New York, with rain for a long time, they have to let sorry untreated water from the sewage plant that goes in the ocean untreated. So they're trying to eliminate that right now. So they're making these called water gardens where the water is soaked away in the ground.
Is it working out? Is it working out? Or let me ask it another way. How is it going?
Well, let me tell you this. I spoke. They're gonna put one of it outside of my house. One of my house, they're gonna put one of it. And I spoke to the girl. What they did, they go around and they had these drilling machine, and they're drilling the ground first and test to see if that where they're gonna put it, the percolation can be enough, or enough, or in other words, it will work on that site. Now I've heard some, it's not official. I've heard some, people said if you have a basement, and if the basement is close by, obviously the water can leak in your basement, because most houses in New York have basements. Again, that's something to probably look out for. I thank God that we're gonna put mine on our basement, but again, that's something in my head that probably we should be looking out for. If we want to get in the basement with the government, how the government gonna deal with that? That's a good question. Is it working also? It started a while back, though they're pushing it more. I think the part of what the infrastructure money that the city probably received, they're probably using that money to push to do more of it. Good question. Then let's see, maybe in the next 5 years from now, let's see what's going to happen. But they're doing a lot of it now in my area. They call it a water garden. They pick a piece of the sidewalk and they let the water drain into that area. They put pipes all the way, just go probably who knows, maybe 10 feet in the ground, and the water drains down in it. So good question. Let's see how that works.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing,
it's a good thing. Sorry, it's a good thing we have you in New York with all this expertise, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. One of my pet peeves, engineering and building. I'm not an official engineer, but I love it, and I always ask questions. Actually, I saw they were putting in they're building a building, and they were putting in the sewage line. So I stopped and I asked the guy. They were from one of the Eastern European country, the engineer. So I asked him why they building this huge hole, and he said to me that the reason why they're doing that, they put a manhole in there because the main sewage line is too small
to take that load coming from that building. So what they did, they put a big manhole first to take most of that drainage coming from the building. The manhole is going to hold most of that sewage water, and then slowly let it go into the main drain, into the main sewer pipe. Mm-hmm. So it will overwhelm it. Yeah. So a lot of these things are been, they've been planned, engineered, they studied it. By the way, I heard when talking about highway. You can build a highway and it doesn't cause no problem but you have to plan. You have to study the year you're going to do it, and just do a little bit more. Make runoff goes into our own pond or our own place, and hold the water there for a period of time, and you soak away. But you just can't just build something and that's it. You gotta. I see them build out in Montego Bay. They build out of Fairview, the shopping center. You ever been out there, Dervan?
Yes.
Man, I was out there one day. I was raining. Very hard. Flooding, the whole thing flooding up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the hell is this? You just built this. There's no water. There's no drainage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has happened a few times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what problem in Jamaica. You gotta do studies. You gotta just. By the way, Dervan, just put in probably 10 more percent of the work, and I just put in 10 more percent of the work, and guess what? It will work. It will work much better. Just 10 more percent sometimes. Just put 10 more percent, extra, and it will work. And then I heard people call about land issue, Dervan. Why we don't get somebody from the going, a minister or someone comes on, Mr. Vard, I think he's in economics or whatever he is, and talk why we can't cut up some of these government land, lease out some of them as farmland, and say, listen, this is farmland, we're going to lease it for 5 years, whatever it is, we're not sure what we're going to do with this land yet. Land that people can live on, you cut it up, and you give people a stipulation what they can build on it. You put roads, put water, and you make JPS run their light, right? Why we can't do this, Dervan?
It's a matter of choice on the part of the decision makers, and where that ultimate decision is made. So it's.
But we don't know how many fruits there, and the land is there. The land is there. The land is there, not being used, right? The land is there, not being used. Okay, so when you want to do farming, you said, okay, how many acres you want? We're going to lease it to you. We're not going to sell it right now because we're not sure what we're going to do with this land right off the back. You lease it to them for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. The stickling is for farming only, so they know that they can't build a house on it. You can build a little shed or whatever, but you can't build a house on it. What you know, especially in urban area or close to urban area, you cut it up and you make people know that this is for housing only. They have a lot, and you give them stipulation what can be built here. I can't say that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, people have their respective reasons for choosing one thing versus another or otherwise. Unfortunately or fortunately, it happens that way.
Yeah, but it's not the people per se. These are the things that government can do to alleviate some of the burden on people. I mean, the land is not, in my opinion, is not for the government. Yeah, the government may want to own a portion of these land to a certain development, but these are the people's land. So, you just can't capture it and take a piece and say that's mine. But, you know what? Government can pass these land up, lease some of them out, and some of them you build, you give them as a house spot. I'm in the process right now, Dervan, I'm in the process of designing a house, a 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom house.
What you have talent in that area too? You're going on with things, man.
Yeah. Well, the designing is, I can do designing. I'm a pro. I do designing too. But what I'm concerned about is to build a house that's somewhere in the $8 to $10 million, two to three bedroom home in between $8 and $10 million. Because I think that's what most people in Jamaica can afford. So if you have a lot already, the material I'm going to use, I wouldn't use building block though, because building block is very expensive. Okay, that's part of our problem in Jamaica. We're using these materials that when you finish, it's very expensive. And you don't necessarily need. There's so much material now you can use. Okay, modern materials that I can build your house without building blocks, and when you see from the outside, you never know that it's not building blocks, and it's just as strong. I'm probably even stronger than building block. I can probably build that house for you because it's not building block in probably a week or 2 weeks time. What do you think about that, Dervan?
Why not? By all means, if you have the resources and the know-how, by all means. Because I remember, while you're on the subject, I'm remembering being at Sam's Caribbean Marketplace. I think you know where that is. West Hempstead. Yes. And a couple of Jamaican construction workers were debating or discussing how well built Jamaican houses are for the most part, and how hard it is if you have to replace or rehabilitate a Jamaican property because it's so well built, especially with block and steel. Hold a moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, and now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the One Spot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Thanks for holding.
So the answer is yes and no. Yes. If you get a cinder block house built on good foundation, I must stress good foundation because, by the way, some of these houses that are cinder block in Jamaica, the foundation is shabby. So the foundation is key when you're building a house. Okay, if the foundation is good, you can get away with a lot of stuff. And it's very key, foundation. But this is my take on the whole thing.
That sounds a little scary, man. A while ago, what you said.
What do you mean? Yeah. I'm telling you, your foundation is key.
But you say you can get away with certain things.
Yeah, if the foundation is good, I'll give you a good example. I have a house that was built in 1964. The foundation is in the ground that go like about 5 feet in the ground. Here in New York, about 5 feet. There's no basement, 5 feet into the ground. 5 to 6 feet in the ground. Foundation is. They use
4 inches block to build a house. And they clad it with the brick house, like, most of in New York is brick. But the 4 inches block is what hold that house up. With no column. And the blocks them are not even they're not packed them, they don't pack them with concrete. But what's the key thing? The foundation. You ask an engineer, foundation of a building is key. You have to know where you're building. Is it swampland? Is it rocky land? Is it the mall? Is it, and how you tie the steel in the foundation is very key. So foundation is key. Okay, building center block house. Yes, but to go back to my what I was saying about center block house. Mm-hmm. Center block house is very strong. Don't get me wrong, but you know what? I can build a frame house, for example, that is just as strong, or even stronger than I can hold up against. After I was talking to somebody about a frame house versus a concrete house during an earthquake. And a frame house will do much better in an earthquake. Yes, cinder block house will do much better in a hurricane. If it doesn't build, I can build you a frame house that can do almost just as well in a hurricane. But it has to certain things has to implement into it. You just can't build a frame house like we see in Florida. They just put up some stick and call it a day. No, it has to be embraced. It has to have the right size lumber. It has to be the right whatever you're using. It can't be just one of those things that is put up these cheap stuff and call it the house. So you have to implement certain material and certain things in it because you are in a hurricane zone. Okay, your foundation, the way it's bolted down to the floor. Just like roofing, by the way. When you do a roof, you have to bolt down the plates onto the belting, and then you have to strap down
the hurricane straps.
Absolutely. But what's important also, you have to make sure those bolts anchor down into that belting. That means that the strength is coming from all the way down in the foundation, coming up. So that plate is not going nowhere, and they tie down those rafters with hurricane straps. Mm-hmm. Guess what? That roof basically is not going nowhere. Okay, you'll get damage there and there. But I've seen here in New York where they actually nail down those rafters, nail the roofs down, and I'm pretty sure they don't have the plates did not have no bolt to bolt down the plates. I'm pretty sure. So if you get a 60, 80 miles an hour wind, that roof is gone. So same thing, anything I give with a frame house. You could implement things in it. Back in the days, I remember my great grandmother used to have a house, a board house, when I went up to the country, and that thing was strong, Dervan. They used those old time board with braces. That thing probably went through several hurricanes. So you can make a frame house, but you have to implement certain things in it that have to be a certain because you're in a hurricane zone. Yeah. So the point, let me just be quick here. The point I'm trying to make, yes, cinder block house is strong, but not everybody can afford, in my opinion, to build a cinder block house. So what I'm trying to come up with in my head is how to build a house that almost just as strong like a cinder block house, looks like a cinder block, and still can last through the hurricane. And I think it's durable. For somewhere in the 50 to 60,000 US dollars, excluding the land. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, there's several material out there that modern material like that you can achieve that with. Mm-hmm. And that also can last you, again, by estimate between 100 to 150 years, probably even longer if you take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we hear you loud and clear. It's something, as I said, worth with the resources in place and the materials, etc.
Because before I go, to me to me, that price point in Jamaica, that's where a lot of people can afford. We're building these expensive houses. Nothing wrong with building expensive houses because I like a nice big house myself. Don't get me wrong, but we have to satisfy our opinion what most people can't afford. You know, and then, by the way, before I go here quickly, part of what I think we need to look into Dervan too is also how we can maximize space where people want to live in Jamaica. So that everyone maybe can afford to buy a house. I want a house. I know we like our unique space, but we probably need to look into how we can create some affordable apartment where people can probably rent and buy also. That's probably one to solve the housing problem.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that still needs exploration in terms of how you go about finding the kind of of building material, the type of construction, the availability of certain certain resources, etc. But it's not far-fetched. It can be done. There are people who have started their building their houses at different places in Jamaica. There are some very good and well-built houses, and they can withstand most weather impact and related matters.
No, I mean, of course. I mean, the point I'm trying to make though is that how can we build a house that affordable in some sense and still has basically the same strength, functional the same way, but a little bit more affordable. Okay, when you build a house with cinder block, you're talking about probably a good 40%, 50% of the cost going to go into the cinder block.
I've seen some of those now. I think they're under the program. Is it the Prime Minister's program of providing houses for the indigent and those who are of a certain level in terms of being able to afford or not afford housing, etc. They do have a couple of those. I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, I've seen some of those, and I can tell you before I go. Again, I don't have so much time, but I've seen some of those that they build. And by the way, just one of those housing scheme houses. Oh my God, they look like a matchbox. I'm not so much a pro. And then they say, okay, you can build onto it. And then people sometimes they build these, they overdo it when they try to build onto these things. The property sometimes can't even take over because I don't think sometimes they get approval. I think sometimes that's what caused the problem because the neighborhood, by the way, the sewage system, the water system, even the electricity was not designed in that neighborhood for that type of house. So you build them a little, I call it matchbox. Okay, they do have a little. They do have some in New York too, like a matchbox. They were built. Some of them were built after World War II, and they give them to the veteran. People, of course, people buy them, sell them. They sell them later, and people buy them. I'm not too keen on that kind of development. I would like to see a development where people buy a house and they know that's affordable or whatever it is. That's the kind of house they're buying, and then they can move up to if they can sell it later on and move up to a so-called more upscale property. If you don't do any addition or whatever it is, then it could be a planning situation because that's how you overstress the sewage system or
the storm drain, you will stress the water system.
Yeah, that's a given. It's a given that all of those would have to be taken into consideration as well.
Right, but in Jamaica, a lot of times that's not what happened. What happened, people just do it and we just pray for the best. And that's how you get these problems. A lot of times that's how you get in transportation. Then the community was not developed for that. In other words, the community may start just we're speaking with 100, with 100 people or 1,000 people. I know you have 5,000 people in that same community. It was not developed for that. In other words, as I said, all these things that need to take into consideration, you just can't handle that amount of people. So, but I would prefer if you're built in a community, it kind of stay that same way. Don't get me wrong, some people, if they get approval, can make some addition, but by and large, can stay that way for the sole purpose of infrastructure. So if you're going to build an apartment building, you know that the sewage got to go in. And I suspect in Jamaica that's part of the problem too. They're doing the development, but they're not doing the infrastructure to literally to match the development they're doing. So if you do an apartment building, you're gonna improve the sewage system. Even JP is gonna come in and do their survey and do their make sure that we have enough power to give to that building, because that cluster will have a lot more people. Take a look at your time, Dervan. I will probably talk about this one more time. Another time we do. Make sure to give somebody a chance.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thank you for the call. Take care.
You're welcome, man.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here are some of the messages we've been missing. Thank you very much. We appreciate your messages and your comments. Sophia Nemard of New Ellen St. Elizabeth, Faye Weller, as usual. Cherry Henry, Valerie Weller Peck, Inez Iona Campbell, Audrey Smith, who was, I don't know if she's still tuned in, listening and watching from Cardiff in South Wales, spending time with family, she says. That's a good thing. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
All we always need to hear both sides of the story.
Here's H. Morgan in Birmingham. He says, good afternoon, Dervan. I totally agree with your caller before, Miss Mervis. The young people in Jamaica need to stop calling each other dog. Why are they putting themselves so low, classifying themselves as dogs? A dog has 4 legs and a tail, so why bring themselves down to a dog? Yes, it wasn't always that way. Somebody started a trend, and this is what we have. So in the past, maybe they used to refer to each other as bro for brother, or brethren, or idrin. Somebody changed that narrative, apparently. Somebody changed that practice, and we have what we have. Having said that, I mean, dogs are not the worst, so to speak, in terms of how we treat them. There was a time when we used to be here in Jamaica, used to be quite brutal when it comes on to dogs. Uh, their the treatment seems to be, well, in places I'm familiar with, the people more people seem to be getting on the wagon when it comes to taking care of their dogs. So you can take that out of the equation. But yes, it's not the way you'd want to be addressed. Not the way we'd want to be addressed. But it's something when something takes off on the streets of Jamaica and elsewhere, invariably it sticks, it stands, it becomes the thing, the done thing. But I don't know how it 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 it's going to take a lot to change that, because that is now ingrained. That's well, we'll see how that goes. But thank you, H. Morgan in Birmingham, for sharing that pet peeve of yours, no pun intended. Thank you for the message. And Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I would like the government to revisit the green plates on your transport. I was told by someone who has green plates, you have to buy 2 discs, the regular one that the regular motorists use, plus the green plates, one, and put what was this one, and put one on your windshield, and if the green plate expires, you cannot drive on the road. I would like someone call and deny it. I think some aspects of this law are illegal. What benefits do we get from the Transport Authority? We don't get any benefits from the Transport Authority. Right now, my friend have to go back to the country to live, and he eventually sell his van because of the cost of the green plate. Well, that's another one for the decision makers to pay attention to, because especially if we end up in a situation where there's a groundswell and there are serious grounds for changes to take place, etc. That's going to have implications naturally. So it's that we perhaps could look at the potential of hosting a special edition of the program which features or focuses on the new Road Traffic Act. We'd have to look at that in that area, see if we can organize a discussion and look at some of these areas that cause motorists to be peeved and upset about how these new these new these changes are having on our driving habits, etc., etc. But definitely worth pursuing, definitely worth analyzing and seeing if there needs to be adjustments. So that's we maybe could get a representative from the ITA, the Island Traffic Authority, and some related groupings could serve as a useful road safety broadcast. Let's look at that. Let's see who we can put onto that one to get the ball a rolling. But you're onto something. You're onto something, and we perhaps just need to take that deep dive, to borrow one of the expressions that is doing the rounds these days. But we're sorry to hear of those who feel they have been disenfranchised, have given up some respects. It just might turn in your favor, maybe if you keep up the advocacy. But we'll wait and listen out and see the likelihood of there being a change. So those messages, thank you very much for those messages. Who is this now? Well, some other people trying to get attention now with respect to certain actions. We're not going to give any. Well, the police have to do what they have to do, but we also have to be mindful as to what is at play. All right, let's see. This one, oh, that's a voice note. We haven't been able to audition that. Sorry about that. We need to finally fix that one of these days. This one says, wow, this person has a lot on his or her plate. Good evening, Dervan and listeners. Big PNP lead, JLP1, 7 parishes of 14, JLP lose 7 parishes too, but JLP parishes only totaled 26 of 63 and 7 totaled 37 seats of 63. ROPA laws said by seats, not parishes. Not who said it is laws said it. Each parish determined by seat counts. That election anywhere in the world, in Westminster, its seats count, and if tied popular votes, PNP won, JLP lost. KSA St. Catherine contains about 25 of 63 seats. PNP sweeps Westmoreland, Hanover 5 seats. And this person just woke up at the end of the election. Is that it? I'm just trying to figure out what's the deal. I'm not sure what that was about. This one says, how can you be worrying about the boys calling themselves dogs when it's you who animalize them by a kid goat, calling the kid a goat, or calling a goat a kid. When them grow up, them no want to be called a kid anymore. So them become that more vicious animal they found in the dog. All right. Thank you very much for your perspective, Raskaba. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Your listener, Miss Estella Wilkie from Goshen, St. Elizabeth. She's now 95 years old. She listens to you every day, as usual. She also has company. 92-year-old Amal Forbes, Mr. Amal Forbes. We are now living in Pepper District. Please give them a kind word for me. Ruby Forbes, her daughter. Thank you. Good to hear from you, Miss Ruby. Thank you very much for checking in. And to Miss Estella Wilkie from Goshen in St. Elizabeth, happy 95 to you. 95 years old and still listening to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM and getting company. 92-year-old Mr. Amal Forbes. And so you're asking for a kind word for Ruby Forbes, her daughter. Well, longevity obviously runs in your family, and we wish you long life and great health. Thank you very much for your collective message. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Anyway, you do it. Delicious, nutritious, it's full of meat. And this is the meat is sweet. Pork is a real good meat to eat. Jamaican pork, always a healthy choice. To taste your protein choice. A message from the Jamaica Pig Farmers Association.
It's young faces hide in the shadows while they watch their mother fall fight. He says she's been unfaithful. She says her love for him is gone. And the brother shrugs to his sister and says, looks like it's just us from now on. All we always need to hear both sides of the story. We need to hear both sides of the story. And the lights are all on. The world is watching now.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. This person has sent a message. This is the person who sent us the message, laden with the local government elections. And the person says, time come, call it Andrew, call it Andrew. 2020 was COVID, tilted, curfewed, no campaign. All right. Thank you very much for those messages. Good afternoon to Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Natalie Winter, how are you? She says, good afternoon, Dervan. Big up to all our mothers and to all the fathers who act as mothers when, or I'm not sure who you're saying is not around or are not around. When big up and take care all. All right, thank you for your messages. Let's see. Spider says, I was told that in Cayman, you only need one type of plates. In Georgia, that I know, you only need one type of plates to operate your transportation. I don't know about the other islands in the Caribbean, says Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Thank you for your comments. This one says, oh, this is Renee Beckley. She says, too much American television. Popular show no longer on air was Martin and his friend Tommy would say, what's up, dog? That is where it comes from. Oh, I see, Renee Beckley. We'll make a mental note of that. If there's anybody else who has a theory, please feel free to share how this business of males calling males dogs. Oh well. But it's not unusual in our culture or tradition, is it? Because when you think about it, Medea, like dog, like brother dog, Jamaican expressions, and it has been in the lexicon for a little while, apparently. Different age groups relate differently on that subject. So what you would get from the Jamaicans of old is me there with me too long hand like brother dog. Or there are a few more terms that would be used. But we'll see if that will lead to any change at all, or we'll just continue along those lines. But there's something in the Jamaican culture when it comes to dogs. But different people say different things or put it in different ways, and some more than others. It's one of those things. In the meantime, we continue as usual with feedback from you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad, here on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaner's website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Oliver Burrell on YouTube says, no one has different plates in Cayman. Oh, well, maybe, yeah, I see. And he should know, right, Oliver Burrell? Well, I didn't see that when I was in Cayman anyway, but I don't know. I wouldn't be able to speak to that. But Oliver Burrell should know. So we'll and come again, whoever concurred that Cayman used two sets of plates, registration plates. All right, if there's anyone who can verify that further or add to that, please feel free. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And of course, the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And let's see this one from, oh no, that was for your legal corner earlier on. So let's make sure we. Veril, sorry we missed your call. Maybe you lost interest after you had to wait so long. Sorry about that. And all the very best. Rudolph in Stony Hill says, Sir Malcolm, bless up yourself. ABMs put out there for people's convenience, and yet we all still inconvenienced. You want to deposit or withdraw, machine not working. A Scotia machine at Manor Park Plaza, Constant Spring, and went there to do a deposit and no option to do so. Why the machines can't be serviced every day for us to get them to use? So that problem continues. And the authorities are yet to spring into service the way the machines need to be put into service. Oh boy. And here's a call coming through on our text line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I've seen really relays for the Olympic Games. Isn't that a new phenomenon?
I'll have to check that. But
Yeah,
then,
I
but
think so,
normally,
because normally we going to send them team to Olympic and they run heats
you
and
have to.
them thing, because I don't think Jamaica had its best team during any of those relays, even though we qualified for most except the 4x400 male.
Yes, there are a couple of ways in which you can qualify. I think one having to do, in some instances, with where the event is being held, believe it or not. There's one approach there. There's another, which is to have a meet, have an MEET, have a meet, a track meet, an athletics meet, for you to compete against others.
Yeah, I know in the field events, in the field event, discus and shot put, high jump, you have to, I know that from long time you have to reach certain distances to compete, but the relays, normally, I read it in the paper and it says the first time they're doing it in today's cleanup. Yeah, and Dervan, you the some child now, and them things. We hear bigger sensationalism in Russia, and them things, no smoking guns. And they already dismissed the case, signed die in Florida, reading classified document. And the Supreme Court by the rule in Trump's favor, the Davis politics in 6th Street. You understand? So, it's going to be Trump versus Biden. All these things going to end up with Trump victory. Because if it's even one juror in New York going to make it a restart, Trump don't have to say a word. The salaciousness is Democrat typical thing, the sexism, the LGBTQ, the same people saying abortion. It's like godliness versus ungodliness, I'm not telling you, you listen to him and I'll miss the cannibalism argument by President being Democrat and Miss Kathy Hochul, New York governor, saying the black kids in Bronx don't even know computer. And I'm saying, you will hear the hypocritical black, so-called, could be black leaders explaining away Miss Ola, Mr. Baden.
Sounds like you'll have to carry over the discussion on your own because we have to wrap. Sorry about that. Thanks for the call.
use the maths and the thing. And I heard Jared alone go to school in Jamaica. They demonstrating tomorrow in New York that people know a seed code win election and a seed entire popular vote win. That parishes, some parts them go up two.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. We have to go. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Poro 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm wishing everybody a safe and peaceful rest of the day.
White man turns the corner, finds himself within a different world. Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall. He says, would you respect me?
There I go again, forgetting to acknowledge our members of our team. Thank you very much, Adrian Reed, for doing technical and production duties behind the scenes alongside Akela Moore. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Well done. And all the best. And thanks to our faithful listeners at home and abroad for making it both sides of the story. Take care, everybody.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
news, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
St. Anne man who pleaded guilty to raping and killing 9-year-old girl sentenced to more than 30 years in prison today. Education Minister defends her position that new music could be contributing to an increase in school violence. Police Commissioner says the High Command is implementing measures to counter gangs which are recruiting students. Impasse between JPS and NWU has ended after the parties signed off an agreement at the Ministry of Labour this afternoon. In business news, government says agriculture projected to account for 10% of GDP in the short to medium term.